Hello everybody, welcome back to my series of Axis and Allies, revised edition. And last episode we set up the game and now we are ready to play the game. Now first I will give a rough outline of the game and later I will go into the more detailed rules of playing the game. Now what you first need to decide is which player is going to take which world power. We have the 5 world powers, and if you're playing with 5 players, then it's very straightforward. Every player takes one of the 5 world powers. But if you are playing with 2 players, one player takes the 2 Axis powers and one player takes the 2 free allied powers. If you have any other number of players, you have to divide it in a way that suits you. Now the order of play is always the same. So first Soviet Union plays, then Germany, then the UK, then Japan, and then the US. So first we'll see how the Soviet Union will play its first turn. Now every turn has 7 different phases. You can read them on the reference chart. They're over here. What are those phases? Well, the first one is develop weapons, the second purchase units, the third combat move, the fourth conduct combat, the fifth non-combat move, the sixth mobilize new units, and the seventh is collect income. And after you collected income, the turn passes to the next player. Now the first phase is the develop weapons phase, and this is an optional phase, and if you want to play it I suggest you read the operations manual. I will continue with the next one. That is the second phase, purchase units. Now everybody has a starting income. We are playing now with Russia. Russia has a starting income of 24 IPC. Now every unit has its own price. Also that is something you can read on the reference chart. Here's all the different units and here's all the cost price. So it ranges from infantry 3 IPC to a battleship 24 IPC. Now in this episode I will not go over the best buy. I will explain that in a later episode if we go into the strategy. I will just focus on the mechanics of the game now. And what will Russia buy? They will buy 2 infantry units, 2 artillery units and 2 tanks. The 2 infantry units will cost 6 IPC. The artillery units will cost 8 IPC and the 2 tanks will cost 10 IPC together. So that is all the money spent for Russia. Now this money will go to the bank and the units will stay here on the mobilization zone until the end of the turn. Now the next phase is the combat move phase, and that is where the fun really starts. So here you can move as many units as you like into as many enemy territories as you like. Keep in mind that you can only move as far as the move value of the unit. So the move value of this unit is 1, so it can move in only one space into an enemy territory. So this Russian infantry will move in here into the territory of Belarusia. This Russian infantry will move in here in West Russia, and this will get supported by the infantry of Russia itself. The artillery, the tank will go in here, the 2 tanks from Russia, the tank from the Caucasus, 1 infantry from the Caucasus, and 1 artillery from the Caucasus. Now I also have 2 planes, one here in Karelia, one in Russia, and they can fly 4 spaces. So this one wants to participate in this battle. So this is 1 space. You have to keep in mind that at the end of your turn you need to have moves left to move into a friendly territory. So this is 1. I probably landed in the Caucasus, so that will be 2, 3. So that's more than enough. Same for the fighter from Russia. I also want to have it participate in this battle or in Belarusia. So it has to fly 1, 2, and it has 2 moves left. 3, 4 can also land in the Caucasus. So this is the result of my combat move phase, and this will result in 2 combats. Now the next phase is the conduct combat phase, and we have 2 combats to resolve, one in Belarusia and one in West Russia. We have to resolve them one by one, and we will put the first one on the battle board. Now I have 3 attacking infantry, 2 attacking fighters and 3 defending infantry. What I do, I put them on the right side, attackers on this side, defenders on that side, and then I put them in the right column depending on their attack or defense value. So this infantry has a defense value of 2 and an attack value of 1. So that's why they're in these columns. And the fighters have an attack value of 3. Now the attackers, they start, and for every attacking unit I can throw 1 dice. So for the 2 fighters I throw a 6 and a 2. Now if the fighter throws a 3, a 2 or a 1, it is a hit. And if it throws a 4, a 5 or a 6, it is a miss. So in this case I have 1 hit because it's a 3 of lower, and I have 1 miss because it's higher than a 3. So what I do is I take 1 casualty on the defender side and I move it to the casualty zone. The infantry, they throw a 1, a 2 and a 6, and that means they have 1 hit, because for the infantry only the 1 counts as a hit. So again we'll move 1 unit to the casualty zone. And now it's a turn for the defenders to fire, and both the defenders here and the ones in the casualty zone can fire. And they fire 2 6s and a 1, and only the 1 is a hit because they defended a 2, so a 2 and a 1 is a hit. Everything higher than a 2 is a miss. So we take the casualty on the infantry guy, and next thing we do is we take the casualties off the board. Now it's up to the attacker what he wants to do. He can decide to retreat, or he wants to press the attack. So in this case he has enough units left to press the attack, and I don't see any reason why to retreat. So they continue the attack, and I will just redo the whole thing. So the 2 fighters, they fire, and we have 1 hit, and that is enough. So the defender will fire, and he misses. So we take the casualties, and now basically the battle is ended. There is no defending units left anymore, only attacking units, And now we put the units back to the board, and what happens now is we captured the territory. And to show that we captured the territory, we put our control marker on it. And next thing we'll do is we'll put the other battle on the battle board. Now Germany is defending here with 1 tank, 3 infantry and artillery. Russia is attacking with 3 infantry from Archangel, a tank from Archangel, so that makes 4 tanks, 2 artillery and 7 infantry. Now this artillery have a special ability. For each artillery, 1 infantry gets upgraded to an attack value of 2. So we do that like this, we put them here, 2 infantry. This is how we start the battle. Tanks fire, they hit 2, 1, 2. The artillery fires, they hit 1. And the infantry fires and they miss everything. Now the defenders fire back. This is 4 units. And they hit with 2 and they misses 2. So we take the casualties here. And the tank misses. So we take off the casualties. 2 Russians, 3 Germans. And now it is up to the Russians to decide whether they want to retreat or press the attack. Now I don't see any reason for it, but if they want to retreat, those Russian forces come from 3 different territories. If you want to retreat, you have to retreat all the units to 1 single territory, and it has to be either one of the territories where those units came from. So they will, in this case, just press the attack. And the tanks, they finish off the battle. 2 casualties. And the artillery, he hits. And the tank misses. So we take off the casualties. And now it's the Russians that win. And they occupy the territory. So we have 4 surviving infantry, 2 surviving artillery, and 4 surviving tanks. And we put our control marker here, and then we see that we have captured 1 territory of 2 IPC and another territory also of 2 IPC, and then we have to adjust the income tracker. So Russia moves 4 places ahead on the income tracker, 2 for Belarusia, 2 for West Russia, and Germany moves back 4 places for losing those territories. So he ends up 36 and Russia ends up on 28. Now here the battle was in favor of the Russians. Now let's assume the outcome was different. Here we attacked with 3 infantry and 2 planes, and we had 3 infantry defending. Now the outcome can be also that maybe the defending infantry is not defeated. Then obviously this territory remains German. Now another outcome can be that all the German infantry is lost but also all the attacking infantry is lost. In that case, we have only fighters left over, and fighters cannot capture territory. So in that case, the battle actually will be a draw, and Russia does not occupy this territory. So another thing that is important to know is that if your battle goes bad, let's assume you had your battle here, and maybe you did not bring all the infantry from Russia, and you see the battle is going bad, then you cannot decide later to put in the infantry. So you can only indicate what is your combat moves in the combat move phase. As soon as you started the combat phase, you have to live with the outcome. So next is the non-combat move phase, and in this phase we can move all the units which were not involved in any combat. Plus we need to move all the planes back. So let's start with the planes. We had two planes in Belarusia. One had 3 moves left. I want to fly him to the Caucasus. So 2, 3, and he's in Caucasus, and one had 2 moves left, 3, 4, and he can also land in the Caucasus. Other than that, I will move this submarine. He can move 2. I will put him in sea zone 6. Here I have infantry in the Soviet Far East and in Buryatia, and I will combine them here with 6 infantry in the Yakut. Soviet Union is a friendly power to Russia, so this infantry can move here into here to support. This infantry will move here. This infantry will move into Russia, and the AA gun will move into West Russia. So keep in mind that the AA gun can only move in a non-combat move phase. So he cannot participate in any attack. He can only defend. Now all the units that I wanted to move, I moved. So this is the end of my non-combat move phase. Now it's time to mobilize our new units. We put them here in the mobilization zone, and we can put them on the board now. There is 2 restrictions. One is you have to put them on a territory where there's an industrial complex. So for Russia, that is either here in the Caucasus or in Russia. The other restriction is that that is the IPC value of the territory. So that Russia has an IPC value of 8. That means the maximum number of units that can be placed in this territory is 8. Caucasus has an IPC value of 4, and here we can only place 4 units. So I want to place all the units as forward as possible, so I want to put as much as in Caucasus as I can. I can only place 4 units, so I will place the slowest units here in the Caucasus. That is the 2 infantry and the 2 artillery. And I will put the 2 tanks in Russia. So for ships there's a little bit of a different rule for placement, because you cannot place a ship in a land territory. So I use UK as an example. I want to put down a carrier. I have a factory here in the UK itself, and I can place this carrier in any adjacent sea zone. So that can be sea zone 2, 3, 6, 7 or 8. So I want to combine it with my other fleet, so I'll put it in sea zone 2. Now UK has an IPC value of 8, and C units are included in this restriction. So now I can place only another 7 units in the UK. The other rule is about fighters. So fighters can be placed immediately on top of aircraft carriers, whether they are built in this turn or were here already before. So if I purchase this fighter, I can just place it in here or in the UK itself. So the last thing Russia does is collect income, and Russia climbed up to 28 IPC on the national production chart. So he receives 28 IPC from the bank, and he keeps this until his next turn. Now Russia collected its income, and now it's the turn to the next player, and that is Germany. So now you know the basics of the game. Next will be the detailed rules and the exception rules, but first I need to make a correction. In earlier footage I saw I missed on the setup. I forgot this guy and I forgot those 2 infantry guys. So be careful. Lesson learned is be accurate in the setup, because missing out on some units can really change the gameplay. I also saw that we are over 20 minutes of footage, so I will pause here and continue in the next episode. So thank you for watching and see you next time.